We all make mistakes in the reptile keeping hobby. So in this video, we're going to be going over 5 mistakes which a lot of reptile keepers make. I've made these mistakes in the past myself, so there's no hate, no criticism. These are just top 5. These are just 5 mistakes people commonly make, in the hope that maybe you'll watch this video and you might not make the same mistakes I've made and other people have made in their hobby. So moving on to number 1, and that is how you approach your reptile. Now, what I mean by how to approach a reptile is how you go about when you go to get them out of their enclosure or do any work in their enclosure or anything like that, or even how you even approach their enclosure, like just walking to the enclosure. Now, what I mean by this is for reptiles, especially like little reptiles like Oreo here, leopard geckos, small snakes and that, their number 1 predators, which are the torment of their lives, would be aerial predators. So you're talking birds, eagles, birds of prey, even crows, seagulls, even birds that you wouldn't normally think, oh yeah, they don't eat animals like that. They will. You see videos all the time like a seagull eating a squirrel, because you don't think they would, but they do. If they can fit it in their mouth and they can eat it, they'll eat it. So birds are a very high predator of reptiles. So obviously a bird, when it attacks your reptile, it's coming in from above, and it's coming in from above with its talons, and it's going to grasp your reptile and take it away, which is a very similar movement. If you're going above the top of the enclosure, going above, and you're grabbing your reptile to pick them up, that's not that, you're simulating basically a bird attacking them, which obviously is going to stress them out quite a lot because they don't want to be eaten. So a much better way to do it is obviously, say like Oreos here, for example, rather than coming from above, just coming from their level. Coming from their level, place them on your hand like I did with Oreo when I got him out of his enclosure. Going in from the same level, put your hand in, pick them up, pick them out. Don't grasp them, just let them rest on your hand. Probably got a bit shaky hands, but just let them rest on your hands. That's the best way to approach them. Don't go from above, go from the side. It's less stress for you, less stress for them. Happy for everyone. So now we'll go into number 2. Number 2 is Facebook groups. Now, what I mean by Facebook groups is, yes, there are some out there that are good, and there are also some out there that are bad. Like bad practices, bad this, bad that. But say like if you're new, relatively new, so like say for example, you've just got yourself a fat-tailed gecko or a leopard gecko. You come up to the issue of, oh, I'm not too sure what supplements I should be using. You've not thought about it. It's just that one thing that skipped your mind and you're not completely sure what to do. So but then you think, oh, I'm just going to ask on Facebook group, Greg. Anyone in that group can answer your question. That person, you don't know that person. You don't know who they are, how much experience. They could have 20 years experience and be the master of African fat tails. Or they could have no experience at all and are just on there because they want an African fat tail, but they think that they are the master, and they're like, oh yeah, you need this and this and this and this, when they have never once in their life held one, seen one, or done anything with one. So obviously you don't know where your source is coming from. You've got no way of validating what they're saying. And obviously with Facebook groups, the problem you get is ask a question or post a picture, be ready to take a pounding, because people will see your picture, see your post, and sometimes on some of the larger the Facebook group, the more this happens. People will attack your post, as in like they'll say, your enclosure's not good enough, this is wrong, that's wrong, that hide needs to move 3 inches to the left, that water bowl needs to move 4 inches to the right. And you just look at it and you read, sometimes I read them and I'm like, this is just pathetic. This person's come on it asking a question and you're belittling them because you think they've done something wrong. Rather than belittle someone, give them a good advice. Say to them, oh, I see your hide is here. If I think you should think about moving it maybe to the left, to the right, whatever. Or if say like their enclosure's too small. Say if you had a bearded dragon in one of these, I wouldn't advise it. If I saw a post on that, I'd literally just post on it. I'd just comment on it saying, look, just so you're aware, most people do recommend a 4x2x2 for a bearded dragon, like an adult bearded dragon. So you may want to think into getting a 4x2x2 in the future. Here's some products that you can use. Say from Dubia, Vivzotic. I don't really care where it comes from, but you know, just a product, something they can use. So whatever you've seen that's wrong, yes, you can say, oh, I think you should do this or this or this. But then give them the answer. Give them, rather than have them go off. They're much less likely to respond hostilely if you come across as just generally trying to help. Moving into number 3, that is impulse buying. What I mean by impulse buying is, say you've walked into the shop, you've just seen a nice cute little African fat-tailed gecko and you thought, I want one, I need it, absolutely no balls, I want it now. Go to the counter, I want this, okay, here you go, you take it home. Damn, I've not got an enclosure. I've not got the right heating. That heat bulb I've got in there ain't going to be powerful enough to heat this cage up enough. I haven't got the right height, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. Then you got to go back to the reptile shop, get more stuff. It's all very rushed. Obviously, moving from shop to your home is a very stressful time for them. So you want to literally, say like if you go to the shop, most shops will allow this. Go into a shop, say, oh, I've done this exact same thing with Oreo. Go to the shop, oh, the African fat tail, I've been looking for one for months. Oh yeah, we got this one. Okay, I need to get the enclosure all set up, I'm ready for him. Can I put a deposit down? Yeah, that's fine. I think the shop done a 20% deposit, so I paid 20% of his full price. That held him for 3 weeks. So I bought the enclosure, bought all the bits, went home, put it all together. Then the next weekend, after I knew it was all running fine, everything was good, I went back to the shop, paid the rest of the money, and then picked them up. And that's perfectly adequate, perfectly fine. Because then obviously it was pick them up, bring them home, put them in the enclosure. I left them in there for a week just to get used to it, because they can be scarce. Get used to it, be happy. It just makes less stressful for them, less stressful for you, because you're not running around like a headless chicken. So it's all just better in general. Now moving on to number 4, and that is an exotic vet. What I mean by this is, obviously if you're getting reptiles and you get a bit of a collection, sooner or later you're probably going to come across a situation where you think, okay, I don't really know what's going on here. You can research, you still think, I don't really know what's going on. So you think, oh, next logical step, take them to a vet. Then you try ringing up, I don't know, a few vets, and they all turn around and say the same thing. We don't do exotic animals, we don't do reptiles. So it's better off to do that ringing up, ringing around, trying to find one when you haven't got an emergency than when you do have an emergency. Because if you've got an emergency, you don't want to be faffing around for hours trying to find a reptile vet that's open, trying to find an answer to your question. You want to go straight away. So just find them first, then get your reptiles. Then when you've got a problem, it's just quick and easy. Ring the vet up, go to the vet. It's not, I've got a problem, spend 2 or 3 hours ringing up every vet in your area trying to find a reptile vet and then go in. Just quick, problem, ring them, go. Just cut out the middle. Just cut out all the hassle and the faff of trying to find them. Do the hassle and the faff when it's not an emergency, not when it is an emergency, and you could potentially cost you time, which could help your reptile out. So on to number 5, last thing we're going to go over is impulse breeding. Obviously with impulse breeding, you see it all the time, hear it all the time. People want to make money off reptiles, so they go out, they say, oh, this ball python I've just bought from someone's worth £2,000. Okay, so I'll buy another one that's worth £2,000. I'll breed them, and I'll have 12 £2,000 snakes to sell. Yes, they may be worth £2,000, but you've got to find the person who's willing to spend £2,000 on a ball python, and he's got to trust you enough to buy it. It takes years to build the reputation, the breeding stock, everything. It takes years to build it all up to a level where you sit there and people look at you and go, yeah, I know this person, I know him really well, I'm going to buy his animals. It takes years to build that level of trust and reputation. If you want to do it and you want to get into reptile breeding, absolutely go for it. Just do your research. Be prepared for if your reptiles don't sell. So if you need to hold on to stock for a while, just so you're prepared and you're not rushing around. And take it slow. Don't jump in with 10 ball pythons with 200 babies. Just jump in with 1 pair of animals, just 2 ball pythons. Breed them, breed them. If you enjoy it, continue to breed them. If you think it's absolutely a living hell looking after all these little snakes, then don't breed them. Just dip your toes in there first. Don't jump head over heels into it, because then if you come to problems and you think, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, you've got a lot of snakes to move, to sell, and you're probably not going to get your money back from them because of how much of a rush you're going to be in. But obviously, those are my top 5 things that are mistakes that people make in the reptile hobby. Even some of them I've made myself. So obviously, if there are other, I'm not perfect. There might be other mistakes you guys may have had that you may think, oh, I can contribute to this video. If you've got other mistakes that I've not mentioned, please leave them in the comments below. So just spread awareness, help each other out, spread that bit of positivity. And me and Oreo will see you next week. Won't we, Oreo? Goodbye.